What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to give you guys my official prediction for the UFC 300 main event, Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill. What a fantastic fight this is. But before we get into the video, like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. But let's go ahead and get right into the prediction. Well, I'm going to kind of break down the fight a little bit and kind of give you my thoughts on the fight itself, and then I'll give you guys my prediction. But here it is. Pereira Hill. The main event. I remember when people saw this fight and heard about this fight being the main event. A lot of people were disappointed about it, and me, I was like, you know what, dude? Listen, UFC 300, the announcements have been disappointing throughout. And when they announced this fight, I'm like, at least we got an entertaining fight, a fight that is a really great stylistic matchup because it's going to be a stand-up war, and that's all I really cared about. I'm like, listen, it's not going to be an all-timer card, in my honest opinion. I mean, even though it's a fan, okay, let me take that back, because from top to bottom, this is a really great card. I mean, in comparison to like other cards that we've gotten, and I mean, even after UFC 301, if you've seen the main card yet, it looks absolutely atrocious. So I'm grateful that we got this type of card in this type of main event. Okay, yeah, I mean, obviously people were disappointed. Maybe people would rather have Pereira fight somebody else, but Jamahal Hill is the guy to be the next challenger to Alex Pereira. He was the champion last year in January when he beat Glover Teixeira, and he completely dominated Glover Teixeira in that fight. He had an amazing performance, the best performance of his career, and he's deserving of this moment. And this fight stylistically is great. These guys are going to strike with each other, two predominantly strikers, and it's going to be a great fight. I think that it's going to be a stand-up war. And I feel like whoever lands the cleanest shot will win. And whoever lands it first will win, in my honest opinion. And I believe that it's going to be, in my opinion, the first round is going to be that feel-out process where these guys are, obviously, they respect each other. I think both guys do respect each other. Even though, like, Jamahal Hill has been saying stuff and he's already proclaimed himself as the champion already, and that he pretty much thinking that he's going to win and his destiny will be fulfilled once again. He will be the champion. I do believe that he does have the respect for Alex Pereira. I think he knows that Alex Pereira is a huge problem for him. But in my opinion, it's like it really just goes down to who is more patient, who is going to be more patient in this fight, and who is going to make the first mistake. That's why belief is going to, that's what it's going to be. That's what will the prediction be. And in my opinion, Alex Pereira is going to be the most patient out of the two. I think Alex Pereira knows that he is a better striker than Jamahal Hill. We all know this already. Alex Pereira is arguably the best striker in all the UFC. Not saying that he is, but he's arguably is, though. I mean, he's one of the greatest kickboxers of all time, and he came into the sport and he has dominated with his kickboxing. He's been absolutely sensational in his UFC run so far. He's already a champion in 2 separate divisions in such a short amount of time. It is absolutely unbelievable what he has done. Like, in a span of like last year, he got knocked out, came back and beat one of the best fighters in the light heavyweight division, and then became the champion by beating Yuri Prochazka. Absolutely unbelievable. But in this fight itself, I do believe that he's going to be patient. He knows that Jamahal Hill is a threat on the feet. I think we all know this already. Jamahal Hill is like he's a great striker. Very good, and he has knockout power. We've seen him put out a lot of guys, and he almost put out Glover Teixeira in his last fight. He definitely could put out Alex Pereira, because Alex Pereira's chin is not the greatest. We all saw what happened when he when he faced Izzy the second time around in the UFC, and he got knocked out cold. And that for sure can happen to Alex Pereira. But I think Alex Pereira is going to be very cautious, and he's not going to overextend himself and try to get Jamahal Hill out early. I think he's going to let Jamahal Hill come to him, and he's going to counterpunch in this fight, and he's going to, wait for Jamahal Hill to make that mistake, because he knows that if he uses leg kicks, and if he uses the body kicks, and if he just, keeps Jamahal Hill at a distance, he's going to be able to find that big mistake that Jamahal Hill, will do. And I think there's going to be moments in the fight where Jamahal Hill overextends to try and hit Alex Pereira, and that's where the mistake is going to be for Jamahal Hill. I think Jamahal Hill knows that Pereira's a better striker than him, but he knows that he could put out Pereira. And the way to put out Pereira is probably trying rushing in and probably trying to get the knockout, which could happen. Because Pereira, one thing about Pereira is that his head movement is not all that great. I mean, it's fine, but like Pereira's head movement is not the greatest head movement that you will see. I really don't believe that to be the case. So I feel like Jamahal Hill knows that he can possibly hit Alex Pereira, and there's going to be moments where Pereira does get hit, but I think Pereira takes some of the shots because it's not going to be clean shots. You know what I mean? Where, you know, he's getting backed up by Jamahal Hill, and he probably gets clipped by one, but like not to the point where it's going to rock him or anything like that, and he's going to get knocked out. I think he probably takes some punches by Jamahal, but he knows that, you know, he's going to start timing Jamahal Hill at some moments in time where he's going to find that clean opening and he's going to hit him with something clean. You know, obviously the left hook will be there at some moments in the fight. But I do believe that he's going to find the knockout. I'm picking Pereira by knockout. Jamahal Hill has that opportunity as well. I'm not saying that with 100% confidence. Like, obviously, I think like a lot of these fights on UFC 300 are super unpredictable, and this one is a super predictable fight. It's just I have to make a prediction, and I do believe that the person that will make the mistake first is Jamahal Hill, and I think Jamahal Hill will leave himself open enough to get hit clean by a big time shot, either left hook, could be a straight right hand by Pereira. I think he's going to end, you know, that shot will open him up. And I think maybe a few more shots and he goes down and then he gets knocked out by Alex Pereira. Jamahal Hill, his way to win, obviously, he has to land that big-time shot. I don't think, by the way, that this fight is going to decision. I'll be shocked if it does. I think, listen, Jamahal Hill has the opportunity to get a knockout, and same thing with Pereira. I think that these guys are either, you know, one or the other are going to get knocked out. I don't think that this goes to decision whatsoever. We're going to see a finish in this fight, 100%. I'm pretty confident in that, to be honest with you. It's just who gets knocked out. I'm picking Pereira getting the knockouts. He's not going to get knocked out. He's going to knock out Jamahal Hill. Yeah, I just think that, to me, the overall better striker is Alex Pereira, and he is going to stay cautious, and he's going to be calm in this fight, and he knows that there is a threat of Jamahal Hill going for the knockout, and he's going to be preserved in this fight, and he's going to find the perfect shots. And he's going to find something probably in the second or third round around there, and he's going to find Pereira, and he's going to knock him out in that second round. I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to knock him out in the second round, and that's all she wrote. And I think Pereira is going to still be the champion. And I think this will be good enough if he doesn't take too much damage. Obviously, if he loses, I mean, he's not going, you know, it's over. He's no longer the champion. But let's say, hypothetically, my prediction is correct. If he doesn't take too much damage, they can fast track him to UFC 301. UFC 301, by the way, obviously right after this. If he doesn't take too much damage, I think they want to have him as the main event, and you can have Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira as the main event of UFC 301. And that fight is definitely very, very interesting for sure. And I think they can do that. If Jamahal Hill wins, obviously I don't think they're going to have Jamahal Hill headline UFC 301. I think they're going to give him some time. But Alex Pereira himself has been saying that he wants to fight on UFC 301. And UFC desperately needs a very good main event for that fight card, because UFC 301 in Brazil looks absolutely atrocious. And if he doesn't take too much damage against Jamahal Hill and he gets a knockout against Jamahal Hill early on and he doesn't take too much damage, I think that they can fast track him to UFC 301 and he can make it there. Obviously, it's a huge risk for Alex Pereira and his career, because like he just got a big time victory at UFC 300, and then a month later he's going to fight at UFC 301 and possibly lose the title to a big time opponent like Ankalaev. That is a huge risk for him in his career. But I can definitely see that being happen, especially if Pereira gets an early big-time knockout. Like if he doesn't go and have a war, somehow, some way this goes past, it goes to full distance. Obviously, there's no way that Alex Pereira fights next month, and he fights, Ankalaev or whoever that the case may be, right? I don't think that happens. But if he gets an early knockout, hell, even in the first rounds, maybe, which could happen, and he knocks out Jamahal Hill, I think that there's a possibility that he will fight at UFC 301. For Jamahal Hill, I'll give you guys a way that Jamahal Hill can win. I think Jamahal Hill, obviously, if he finds something and if he just kind of pressures Alex Pereira and he just finds it and hits him with something clean, I think he can put him out. Because Alex Pereira's chin is definitely questionable. And I think, to me, Jamahal Hill has probably some of the best power in that division. If he's able to get a clean shot on him, I think that he will get a knockout. I mean, it's just the fact that, does he hit him cleanly? And I think he could. I think that he could definitely knock him out, for sure. But it's just if he finds that shot, which I don't think he will. I mean, there is a possibility. I'm not 100% confident in the Pereira pick because Pereira's chin is not great. It's not the greatest because he just got knocked out like last year by somebody who doesn't hit as hard as Jamahal Hill and Israel Adesanya. I think obviously Jamahal Hill hits a lot harder than Israel Adesanya, and look what Israel Adesanya did. But obviously that was in a different weight class, different circumstances. That's besides the point. But yeah, Jamahal Hill could definitely win this fight, 100%. I definitely could see that happen. But yeah, that is my prediction. I think Alex Pereira gets the job done and he remains the champion at light heavyweight. And yeah, that is my prediction. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video. Peace out.